Welcome in, guys, to another Scout Report. I am back to Scout Tyler Booker, left guard from Alabama. Now again, I've talked about this a couple of days ago, I've talked about it in like previous videos. I do want to scout Tyler Booker. I've talked about him, I talked about it in my Lions video I did a few weeks ago. So I want to really talk about Tyler Booker. He's one of those that's got a really good high ceiling, in my opinion, and I just want to give you my opinion on him and what I've seen on tape and all that other stuff. So first off, the games that I saw him on tape were MSTU, Texas, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Tennessee and Kentucky. So they're all the games that I watched him on, that I've seen stuff on. So going into his strengths, first thing that I saw on what I liked about him on tape was he has a devastating power on down blocks. So on these down blocks, he has a great, devastating power block about him. He consistently, and then what I followed up on here was he consistently creates vertical displacements with the offensive line, with the offense, and creates vertical displacement with he has great explosive hips, and that in return he can do heavy drive and do heavy-handed flat to the defense, especially when he's great at dismantling the defense and protecting the quarterback. So great at that. And then another one thing I want to say here is that he has an elite arm length. Like his arm length talent is elite, in my opinion. For especially his interior play, like he's great at weaponizing effectively. Again, his arms he was like about what 34, 35, something like that. And again, he's just great. He has great arm movement to control the defense. So and then when he's doing the whole great arm movement, again, that's before they try to get to his chest. Then really the other thing I did like, and one of those things that I saw on tape was he, to me, comes across as an elite pass protector, and he's he's an elite pass protector, and he has that outstanding like of an anchor, which is, again, you need that at the NFL level. At somebody who, again, I'm looking at this for the Lions perspective. I'm like, we need somebody at left guard. Again, there's a couple of games last year, the Bills game, the Commanders game. There's other again, especially that especially the Commanders game when we were the times that Goff was getting sacked a couple of times, and you could say, oh, it's the defense. But the reason why we lost the game, one was because of the defense, and you could say, yeah, the defense was the reason why we lost the game. But the other thing was that offensive line. Yeah, much as what Ben Johnson did great for us the last couple of years, but the thing that we would really missing, like an elite level left guard. That's something that we was missing. And then Goff was getting sacks again. Goff again didn't have a good game though in those games I just talked about. But you need somebody like a Tyler Booker that's going to get you out of those positions. And then he has a consistent stonewall power rusher, and he has a stonewall power about him, and he shows exceptional ability to reset his base. So again, if he's out of his base, out of movement, he can get back into his position. And then he has a superior pass blocking. Again, he has a good pass blocking grade. Again, a couple more things I just want to mention as well He shows exceptional awareness on stunt when he does this stunt and twist. He has ability to process movements while maintaining his base. So again, it's not one of these. Again, you see a couple of these left tackles when they're trying to process the movement, and then they don't have that base and leverage, and then he has the power as well. It's just good stuff. And then he brings out consistent. He's a violent. He's a violent as a opponent. You see him a couple of tapes, like against Mississippi, against Texas A&M. Like he was just pulling the defenses left and right, and that was and then that makes him leave, and then he comes with bad intentions, and then he has good attractability. He's good at leading the offensive line as well, through excellent strengths, and he sustains his blocks as well. And then couple of two more that I like to hear is that he has an excellent grip. Oh yeah, he has an advanced understanding of leverage, and consistently wins at pad level. Even at pad level, he wins at pad level, even though these pad level battles, even though like you look at his height and she's learned to maintain separation. And then let's go to the weaknesses that I couple of the weaknesses I want to really talk about here. One thing again, often one thing that I did see out there, often relies too heavy on the interior power surge. On the interior, sometimes on tape you'll see Tyler Booker heavily rely too much on the interior power in his run game. When sometimes he cannot land like his first punch and cannot really get to the and then while he's trying to do the whole power surge run thing, when he's trying to do the interior power surge in his running game, ultimately that he loses his leverage and control. So again, that's something that you need to really kind of coach it. You can coach that out of him if you find like a defensive coordinator, an offensive coordinator that is the right fit for him. One thing that I've really seen on his tape is footwork has to be addressed. It needs to be kind of refined. Sometimes, a lot of times on tape when I saw him, he was getting cut out on tape with his foot getting loose, and he was losing power in his on some like zone blocks and stuff like that. So again, you need to, if he's wherever he goes in this draft, you need to find an offensive coordinator that's going to help him, especially on the running game, and really his refinement of his refinement of the running game. And then shows and then these are a couple of other things I see. Can be a bit slow on some complex packages, like some bullets. It can be kind of a bit slow trying to diagnose the situation. Then ultimately that means he comes late to the defense and then gives away penalties and stuff like that. So yeah, again, something like that you need to work on. But then sometimes he can. One other thing that he can play too high. Too high in the running game, and then he loses his leverage, like I said earlier, and then he loses his leverage battles that really you should be winning. And then kind of one other thing, he has a lateral limitations in proximity in spaces, and problematic when asked to do a reach block or like work in a zone scheme. And then really my summary of Oh yeah, and then I did one more. I said that one more. Yeah, he's kind of he has that second level. His second level blocking is a concern as well. I saw that when he's blocking on the second level, that's going to be a concern. He's poor angles on some tackles and on when he's doing like the second level blocking, and he struggles to adjust it in the space, and then he really gets he cannot get secure the blocks on the linebacker on like the linebackers. So again, my summary, what I got was, again, he's definitely gonna be an NFL starter. You know, he's got a good for he's powerful. He's a good powerhouse, big fucking guy that you want in your team. Um, and he's great, especially on that in the interior offensive line. He's going to be really good at with his power and his physicality of the NFL. But again, he needs to develop more as a needs to work on his running. Needs to work on the running game more uh, of his game, and then refine, like I said, refine his run game, and then develop more as like a pass blocker. I think that you can still, again, he's okay, but again, you can still work on stuff like that. But overall, I think for Tyler Booker, looking at him now, um, he's a second round pick to me. Um, you know, I was saying him for him to opt for the Lions. I could see him. I could see us going for Tyler Booker. Again, you look at maybe Dallas, especially, you know, that offensive line needs to be addressed, especially with the Cowboys. So there's a lot of really maybe again the Bears. If he's on the board in the second round when the Bears have their pick, maybe he goes to the Bears. Um, Maybe he goes to like especially under Ben Johnson. I think that would be a good fit with him and Ben Johnson. But maybe Keelan Moore. He goes with him with the Saints, or yeah, I don't know. But ultimately, in my opinion, he's definitely going to be a starter. What again, you're gonna have to work on his running game has to be a bit. You have to work on his running game side of things, but as a blocker, he's great. As a pass protector, you can work on stuff like that, but his run blocking needs a bit more work in my opinion. But yeah, that's my scout report on Tyler Booker. I will tomorrow night. I will have my. I'm gonna start writing up my draft picks for rounds 1 to 3. I'm gonna start out tomorrow night, and then that could be up by Sunday, maybe Monday, and then I'm gonna be going back in the week talking about some more quarterbacks in this class, and then yeah, and then it'll be drafts, and then the draft will be here, baby, and that's that.